Hello everybody, welcome back for some more Shadow the Hedgehog. That's right, we're now actually finally returning. I know it's been a bit, so, and I was afraid of that. But today we're gonna do neutral, probably again, neutral evil, but most likely like strict neutral evil, like basically getting to the last neutral path somehow. And then just going from there. Now, in all technicality, I could just easily just say, screw all that noise. And just go completely wild with it. And just do something, anything, at this point, you know. I don't know, but for now, let's just see what happens and we'll go from there. So, I want to apologize, like I usually do. Hold on. Got all the buttons did again. I want to apologize for why it took me so long to get to an episode 3. And a lot of that reason was just because I just didn't really feel like recording. I know I shouldn't have to apologize for that. Like, if I don't want to do it, then it's no big deal. But, I also noticed that, and I want to say it's probably YouTube. I've already concluded that it's most likely YouTube that kind of screwed me on this one. So, not a lot of people watched episode 2, and I was kind of baffled by that, and I was thinking to myself, is it something that I did? Like, is it the thumbnail looked really bad, nobody knew what I was doing, and they just didn't see it, like, as the Shadow of the Hedgehog, because to be fair, it really was arguably a pretty damn bad thumbnail. And then I thought, like, well, maybe it wasn't exactly that. Maybe it wasn't exactly my thumbnail that was bad, which it was. It could be a simple case of just YouTube fuckery, because I feel like YouTube tends to like to do things like that, where they just kind of hide you and shadow ban you for something that you don't really understand or even really know why you did it. Or why they would do it. They just kind of end up hitting you with it, I guess. I don't know. It sucks. But I don't know. I was gonna say, maybe we should try it on a different path. Like, we'll just do like hero side or something real quick, and then switch off to something else. To go back to the neutral path. Like, I don't have to play, in all technicality, one strict path. You know? There's a level I don't want to do. I can easily just make it to where I don't do that said level. If I so chose. I love this weapon. It's so good. We should have gotten another weapon too, but I think it's only when you finish one of each path, I think. I could have sworn that like all 10 endings give you, like each ending gives you a weapon, but I'm not really sure. Oh well, too late. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's just been a while. I haven't really been in the mood to want to do anything. And you can tell I'm kind of out of breath right now, but that's because I've been running back and forth. Like, just... Oh, yeah. I got a lot of exercise today, I can tell you that. So, I'm a little bit out of it right now. And it's also like 7 o'clock on a work night, essentially. Like, I have to go back to work tomorrow, so... Not a big deal. I kind of need some money. But I'm not worried about that. It's just more so... this is not my usual time to do these things. I might not be that funny in this one. This one might not be that entertaining. But if you do like Shadow the Hedgehog, and you like somebody playing through it just like as a casual playthrough, and not trying to like point and laugh, you know, then this will definitely be something that I would say could be up your alley. Now, if I had somebody here with me, I probably would point and laugh. But I actually, unironically, don't hate this game. And I've already found 2 other people that have said that they didn't hate it either. Both of my brothers. Well, technically 2 of my brothers. But both of them have confirmed that, yeah, we actually kind of like the game, or at least we like it enough. I'm like, yep, that's at least 3 out of 6 people that I now know, including myself, that actually like Shadow the Hedgehog. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's one other person out there that I also do happen to know slightly that probably also does like it too. So, just saying, you know, I guarantee, like, I feel like that's just the case. But anyway, we're going back again, like I said, just doing more neutral running. You guys have seen this stuff before. So, it's just easier to do a neutral path first, get it over with. It's one of the easier things to play. And usually whenever, I think everybody does it, for the most part. I don't really see a lot of people just going out of the way to do any of the missions when they're playing Shadow the Hedgehog for fun. We usually just tend to do a neutral run, and then every once in a while maybe we'll branch off to something else, just to kind of make things different. But I usually, and I think a lot of other people just typically just stick to the one thing here. Hang on, I'm gonna revive him real quick and see if that just cause get some neutral points back, because it wouldn't hurt to have some. Sorry, I don't ask. I don't know what I'm doing. It's like when I was playing Shadow Generations, like I just completely forgot how to play the damn thing for a second, which is baffling because you would think like, oh, it's a Sonic game. You should know how to do that by now. Yeah, you would think, but apparently not. I also like how this game. I don't think it was this game that introduced it. Whenever you get hit, you don't lose all your rings anymore, and I want to say that's something that was introduced in the GameCube era, which would most likely be like, well, I say GameCube, but that's also considering like Dreamcast and such. So, but I think in Sonic Adventure, you lose all your rings if you get hit. Like both SA1 and 2, I think, do that. To be fair, I honestly don't remember. I know I should. Like, I'm the Sonic nerd, I guess you could say. Like, I should remember this type of stuff, but I really don't. It's also funny, too, because when I was doing my Sonic project, I think that was the first time I ever did, at least I think, I ever did, like, Sonic-related stuff. I might have done Sonic Adventure before I ever did the Sonic project back then, which is finished, by the way. It was essentially the Sonic Generations project, more so specifically. And I didn't want to do Shadow the Hedgehog or anything like that, not because I didn't like the game. Well, maybe back then I probably just, I don't know, I've always had a soft spot for it, but, point being that there was a point in time where I didn't want to do any extra Sonic things to kind of get in the way of me doing, like, games via Sonic Generations. So, Shadow the Hedgehog being, of course, one of them. And now, as you guys can definitely tell, that, I wouldn't say curse, I'm about to say curse, that entire project is done, so I'm basically free to do whatever Sonic game I choose, and I'm kind of glad that I'm actually doing Shadow, because I figured, why not? Maybe sometime in the future I might even do like a Shadow co-op thing or something, I don't know, but co-op stuff is just something that doesn't really, yeah, it's kind of hard to do sometimes, which, I know that sounds stupid, it's like, well, it's just you and your friends hanging out and talking about whatever. Yeah, but like at the same time, like, my mood for whatever we're doing at the time is just gone. Like, if I'm the one playing the game, I've said this before a million times, but like, if I'm the one playing the game, or if, you know, like, I can talk and play at the same time, because, you know, that's what I do. I do Let's Plays, right? So it's like, I already have that ability to do that. It's just when you have, like, I feel like, you know, everybody else, when they play a game, you know, especially my brother, who doesn't really have that full capacity to talk and play at the same time. And a lot of the time, I'd rather watch somebody else play a game when doing co-op and just kind of let them do whatever and just let me yap. But that makes for bad commentary, because then it's like I would probably end up being the only one talking, or at least focusing on, you know, talking, whereas my brother would just be too caught up in playing game. And there's just some games out there that I just feel like don't really work with that. And sometimes I'm just too tired to even bother. Like right now, like even right now, I'm a little bit out of it, not gonna lie. So it was either this or do Uncharted 2. But that was more so for the guide rather than just anything particular. On this channel, I mean. Yeah, I don't mean to bore you guys. I can really tell that I'm way... I don't sound exactly as I normally do. I'm not exactly, like, super hyper, full of adrenaline right now. I'm just sort of, just kind of hanging out with my cock out and just playing Shadow the Hedgehog. I don't know what else there is to say. Well, I can say one thing, though. We finished Ratchet & Clank Reboot on my friend's channel, so if you want to check that out, you can find his channel on my channel page. It'll be, of course, you know, Take Chronos. So if you want to see, that there, you can. Then we decided, because like an idiot, I was like, I want to play Ratchet 2. Let's record Ratchet 2. And it's funny because, like, as soon as I started recording Ratchet 2, I'm like, oh no. Oh no, I don't feel this. I don't even hate Ratchet 2 anymore. I used to hate it, and nowadays it's like, actually, I quite like it. I was just kind of blinded by my own stupidity and biases toward it, I guess. But yeah, like, while I was playing it, I'm like, oh man, like, the Let's Play curse is truly hitting. And like I've been saying for probably weeks now, unironically, like, it's gonna be a thing to watch out for this year, especially because I'm gonna be probably not really playing it or really doing a lot of Let's Play stuff, but every once in a while you'll have a Shadow the Hedgehog that pops up. And then for Shadow Generations, we were just way too tired. It was already like 12 o'clock at night. We just ate. You know, which is always a bad combo. I always say never eat and then do a Let's Play, but then if I don't eat and do a Let's Play, I'm going to be hungry. And if I'm hungry, then, well, you know, it's going to suck, right? I'm going to have no energy to do whatever. So I need to figure out a way to kind of counterbalance that a little bit. And then just trying to... I know it sounds stupid, but it is honestly kind of exhausting trying to think of something funny. And being, you know, trying to bounce off people if it doesn't just... If not everybody is feeling it, then I can't really react very positively to that. Like, I can't make funny if no one else is, like, you know, hyper like I am. It's really kind of just a dumb thing that I can't seem to be able to do. I guess I'm just hyper autistic. I mean, I'm playing a Sonic game. I mean, I think we already know by now I'm somewhere on the spectrum somehow. But, like, it just... Whenever, like, everybody has moods or just kind of like, you know, oh, we're just here, whatever, doing whatever, you know, it's fine and dandy. It's just like, you know, when I do these Let's Plays, I want to be entertaining. I want to be hyper. I want to be funny. And then sometimes, you know, if it's just not bouncing off, it's like, well, then we just not do it today. We're just not feeling it today. And then just move on from there. Because I don't know. I know it sounds like I'm over here basically blaming everybody else but myself. I get that. That's what it sounds like. I'm not trying to do that. Yes, I am. Who am I kidding? But it's just one of those things, you know? Like, sometimes there's one person who's just not in the mood to do something, and that's just going to happen, you know? I can't force everybody to be having a good time or to be hyper. You know, I can't do that. Like, I can't force them to do that. Which is why a lot of the time single-player Let's Plays like this actually work a bit better in some cases, because at least then, if I'm not in the mood to do something, I can just simply just say, nah, I'm not doing it. I mean, I can do that with my friends, too. Like, if I say, like, I'm not in the mood, or if they say they're not in the mood, it's like, okay, let's just do something else, you know? No biggie. Because I'm not a dick. You know? If they don't want to do anything, that's fine. It's fine. But, when I'm doing it by myself, it's a lot easier to kind of manage that and then just, basically focus on just whatever. Focus on the game and talk about whatever. So, you could argue that in all technicality it's a bit more chilled out, I guess. I guess I am more of a chilled out Let's Player. I don't just scream and yell all the time. But you get me on some games, like when I was doing Jungle Beat, which I'm so pissed off I deleted on accident. I was having a lot of good fun. And just yelling and kicking and screaming like a banshee. Which, just because, I was banging on the bongos, I was clapping my hands, I was in the mood, I was in the rhythm of it. And right now, it's just a chill day, so that's what you guys get to see. You guys get to see me just, essentially just chill out and have fun. Kind of need that every once in a while, Especially for a game like this, where it's just sort of hated. I feel like people do kind of like the game to an extent, but I don't know. It might be one of those cases of like Sonic Unleashed where give it time and people will eventually come around to being like, oh, it really wasn't that bad. I could have sworn you get points from attacking enemies. I don't remember. Okay, I should have gotten at least by now. Oh, that was scary. That would have probably knocked me off and killed me. Oh, come... Oh, I think I know what's going on. It's because I'm... Yeah, it's because I'm in the... I'm in the jumper, or whatever it's called. Wow, Shadow, you went far. Barely even at all. I will say this, though. In comparison to Sonic Heroes, there are a lot of just really not very fun levels in this game, sure, but... Like there is with any Sonic... any good Sonic game, there's always going to be the bad shit. And, of course, this game is also just mission-based. It's basically Chaotix, but now on a full scale. Which, arguably, I guess, makes sense for them to go that route. Because if it was just a regular Shadow game, I mean... I don't know. Sonic Team's weird when it comes to stuff, because they always want to try to introduce something new. Like some new type of gimmick. And, as we all have been well aware of over the course of years of having Sonic games, it's not exactly something that they are always the best at doing, which does kind of suck. And they definitely took the Chaotix route, the mission-based route for this game. But, I don't know. I really wouldn't say it's completely terrible, but what would the real question, I guess, would be like, what would a normal Shadow game even look like? Because this is like pre-boost. I think. Well, I think Rush started the boost mechanic, but I want to say that, yeah, this was still around the era of like pre-3D boost gameplay. So... If we had a regular Shadow game, would it look more so like... Would it just be Shadow's story from Sonic Adventure 2? Where you just play a plethora of stages that way? Which I think, honestly, I mean, I wouldn't really mind. One of the big things that really does hinder it, and I think I've talked about this before, but one of the bigger things that actually hinders this game a lot is... Unfortunately, the controls, even though I've played enough Sonic Heroes to tell you that I do think that Shadow... I feel like Shadow the Hedgehog controls just a bit better than Sonic Heroes does. There's like this little bit of... I mean, there's still like that little tiny bit of slipperiness to it. But it's not to the point where like Sonic Heroes was... But I do think that Sonic Heroes also suffers from just having really just terrible, mind-numbing levels that don't... well, I mean, they're not all terrible. I'm just saying, when I say terrible, I'm mostly referring to like Casinopolis, and that level by default is cool. Just when you're playing the pinball stages, or I mean Bingo Highway or whatever, when you're playing the pinball section, you know, you're trying to move in a certain direction, and the game just it just goes wherever it just kind of feels like going, I guess. And maybe it's a case of like I don't know how to control it properly like I can with this game, because at least with this game I do actually know how to play this game a little bit better. I know when to homing attack. It's like Sonic 06. Sonic 06 has the same problem where people like to dog on the homing attack and say it's really bad and it's just really trash because you can't just mash the homing attack. And that's the secret to it, is like you can't mash the homing attack. You have to attack and wait for, in this case, Shadow. You have to wait for Shadow to kind of be like, you know, slightly floating in the air. And then you can go from there and then do another homing attack. Wait for him to kind of just stop his animation and go for another one. And Sonic 06 does the same thing. So, which I don't even hate Sonic 06. And I still recommend Project 06 if you haven't played it yet. I think it's definitely a pretty good game. I think it's definitely worth it. And there's a little bit of, I wouldn't say delay. There is still a little bit of kind of like that spammable homing attack that you kind of can do, sort of. But it's nothing too crazy. Just whatever you do, just don't mash it. That's all I can tell you. That's my best piece of advice. Now, something like that, you know, you might think to yourself, oh, here he comes. He's going to say it. He's going to say how bad this game is. And he's going to say, oh, it's the game's fault for being absolute dog shit. And, you know, it killed him off. Well, actually, no. It didn't. Yeah, I died. I can see that. But the main difference is that I was holding a direction when I was using Lightspeed Dash. So, I would argue that, to an extent, I was the one that technically kind of fucked it all up. To be completely... Okay. The blimp having a hitbox is kind of weird. But, okay. I also had no rings. Look, I'm not going to blame a game just because it killed me for seemingly a strange reason. Unless it's something that's, like, really awful, or just something that takes me too far back, or is just complete and total bullshit at that point. Which this one, you know, if I didn't touch the blimp, I would have been fine. But I always hate, in this game mainly, I really, really despise jumping off of, like, rockets and stuff. Because I just get that feeling like something's going to happen to me. And I don't want that to happen. Like, I'm just going to miss the jump, or miss the landing, you know. It's something to be genuinely afraid of. Also, I wonder if Shadow takes the up path. I don't want to, like, Sonic-explain to you guys, but there's a thing with Sonic games usually where there's, like, an up and a down path. And typically the up path is usually referred as to, like, the more, like, difficult path to take. A lot of the time. Requires a bit more skill, I guess. And usually the downward path is like, oh, it's a bit more easier to progress to. Usually if you fall off of... if you typically fall off an upward path, you'll probably usually end up on the downward path, and therefore, you know, there you go. Now you're going back down to the easy street, I guess you could say. Yeah, see right there, I wasn't holding the analog stick, so That's why I was able to just land right off of it. It sucks, you know, when that happens. Like, you want to hold, and I get it too. It's like you want to hold the analog stick, and I do agree that I do think that when it comes to a Sonic game, you should be allowed. I cannot fucking hit this guy for the life of me. You should be allowed to hold the stick in relatively any direction and still... There's a key there. Hot damn. You should... Because, like, most people probably would hold it up, right? Like, most people probably would. And I do think, and I do agree that, at the very least, that should still be something that you should still allow your player to just have. And also, don't get me wrong, but, like, yes, in all technicality, Shadow, just much like Sonic Heroes, does have relatively somewhat poor control. But at the same time, if you get a little too out of control, he will just kind of... As long as you don't jump, you can sort of not accidentally jump off of something silly and get yourself screwed.
Now, Doctor, you will tell me everything.
Okay, this is really bad. So, we're going to have to knock out all 5 of these fucking things. And I don't know if one of them's on a secret path or not. If for some reason I end up doing another neutral good path again, I'm just going to delete the whole video. If I accidentally do Hero Mission again, I'm just going to delete the whole thing because there's no point. But luckily enough, this game allows you to go back between checkpoints, which is nice. You know, arguably, it's something that I'm kind of glad that, you know, these games do by default, technically, that you get away with. Hang on, I'm trying to... Yeah. Also, another good thing that this game does, too, is it doesn't go exactly full, you know, Sonic Heroes, where enemies have just gigantic health bars. Also, yeah, don't fight Shadow Androids. It's not worth it. Shadow Androids will probably typically just fuck you over every time, and it's just not fun. Oh, yeah, kind of off topic, but, I mean, depending on if this video gets uploaded or not, who knows. So I finally bought, oh my fucking god. I finally caved in and I bought Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I bought the Switch 2 version, so I get to play all that fun stuff, you know, with DLC and everything. And today is Sunday, but I played it all day yesterday, Saturday. And what I mean by all day is like from like, I think like 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the morning. This morning. This morning, I not only beat Kirby Forgotten Land, like main story and final boss, I beat the final boss of the DLC. I beat the first like 3 tournaments as well. I did not beat the DLC tournament yet. The Ultimate Tournament EXZ. Because EX was the last tournament I think you get in the base game or whatever. I didn't 100% though. I beat pretty much everything in one... Technically 2 sessions because I did take a break. Like an hour or so break in between. But I would say in one whole day, I stayed up till like 4 o'clock in the morning. Starting from like 12. And hang on. And yeah, that was good fun. I would say that I liked the game, but I don't feel like it's one of those ones I'm going to go back to right away. But I also said the same thing when it came to Donkey Kong Bonanza. But Bonanza, I had a lot of good fun with Bonanza to the point where I've considered it what I call now a forever game. Something I can always just kind of reliably go back to, knowing I'll probably have a decent time playing it. And it's one of those things, too, where it's like, if I don't feel like playing it right then and there, well, then that's fine. I don't, you know, I don't really have to. It's something that I can start, whip out, play for a little bit if need be. Oh, wow, I have all 5. Holy shit. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot what this was for. But yeah, I would consider DK Bonanza a game like that. Like Bioshock. There's a few games in there somewhere, like, Ninja Gaiden. I don't know. I can't dead offhand think of every single one, like Resident Evil 4 maybe. Just games that I know for a fact that I can always kind of rely on, like I said. That would give me a relatively decent time playing it, and not only a decent time playing it, but just something that's just easy to kind of whip out and play for a little bit if I wanted to. Spyro, Crash, all that fun stuff. So, for this mission in particular, you don't really need... you don't need a gun for this. But I do believe that guns do help a little bit more. Because again, as you probably know, guns in this game are very useful. So, of course, that would be something to, I guess you could say, look out for. Now, the problem with the evil side mission here is not only do you have to find all 5 of these little bastards, but you also have to watch out for the lava rising, because that's going to be a thing. Yeah, not the Metal Gear rising, but the lava is going to rise, making this a much more difficult level. And you might be thinking, like, well, of course it's more difficult because it's the evil variant. You're playing a dark mission. It should be harder to play. Much like in the same case with Sonic Heroes, where Sonic Heroes, you had the dark. Oh, shut up, Eggman. You have the dark team, who arguably make the game. Of course. That arguably make the game a lot harder. It's more of an advanced player type thing. The levels are longer. I think enemies are more. Well, they just exist more often. There's more enemies, basically, what I'm trying to say. And I would wager a guess and say that most likely this game probably does about the same thing. I wouldn't be surprised. It's funny. There's really no reason for me to kill. There's really no reason for me to kill these guys. All right, let me try to line this up. Yeah, this is not very good. They're not going to make it very easy. This is absolutely terrifying. Of course. I know how to do it. I know how to do it. I just hate the fact that lava just instantly kills you, though. There's no need for that in this game. Oh yeah, if you're wondering, why don't you do the combo thingy, like, the melee system? Why don't you play that a little bit? Well, there's really no reason to. It's not that it's terrible. More so that it just... Oh, my fucking God. Hey, it was gonna happen. It was gonna happen. Hey, I never said this game was not without its flaws. Yeah, the combo system itself is just kind of mediocre at best. If, for God knows what reason, if they ever decide to make a Shadow the Hedgehog 2, and it's kind of based off the premise of this game, which they'll most likely add boost control anyway. Let's just say, hypothetically, we did get one. I would wager a guess and say that it would be nice if they... I wouldn't really wager a guess. It just would be nice if they added a much better, just actual melee system that wasn't exactly too annoying and just... Let's just be real, it's basically pointless. let's just be absolutely truthful here. It just essentially is a sort of worthless system in general. You'll really never have a need to ever use the basic melee, which is very annoying though, because it would be nice if you could. By the way, don't home attack these guys, as tempting as it is. I hate when Sonic games make enemies that have this really stupid defense against homing attack, because homing attack is used as like a way to save you from obstacles and stuff. So it would just be nice if, you know, you could just get away with that. Sorry. But yeah, no, you pretty much just can't. You're kind of just stuck with accidentally homing attack on something that you don't really want to, I guess, technically home attack on. Alright, get ready for the Spyro the Dragon Nasty Nork platforming here. With the added wall run that decided to stick. That was good fun. I don't remember exactly which way goes to the next one, but I guess we'll find out, won't we? I assume, because I feel like I should know this, that at least most of these should be all within the same sort of neutral path. And by that I mean not actual, like, neutral story path, but just more so, like, they should, in theory, be a lot easier to get to. Like, it's just, like, one singular route, and it's not too hard to figure out what that is. You go the straight direction, and then you'll probably make it. Much like if you were going the same direction with Omega, but this time with the added obstacle of pure lava being in the way. And yeah, take your time with this, you know? Don't worry too much about all that annoying little crap that this game might throw at you here and there. And be very careful with this one. Because I remember dying a lot to that. Alright. Almost. No checkpoint, of course, because this game is very mean about things. I mean, it'd be nice if we just had one. I'm also kind of worried that... Okay, there it is. And done. So, neutral evil is going to be finished. We're just going to fight the boss, and we're done with that. And then the rest of these endings that I have on this save file will be completely new, I think, from here on out. Let me get C. B. Alright. So I'm pretty sure it's still based on points rather than beating it at a fast enough time. But I think you can usually... I usually do West Alpha's neutral. And I get A rank just by using Chaos Control to do it.
Very well, Shadow Android. You have surpassed expectation, equal to that of the real Shadow.
Okay, here's the weird part, though. This makes no goddamn sense.
With my latest and greatest...
Why would I have to... I mean, well, Eggman's an asshole. I get that. But, like... Why would they make the same boss for the same story here? I always thought that they would just make it to where you'd have to fight somebody completely different, but I don't know. Honestly, there's really no point. I feel like you're better off just hanging on to it for invincibility, as long as you can possibly have it. The good news is, this boss is really not that difficult, so... And while he's blowing up with that, we're about to run out anyway, right? So I'd say why not at that point. By the way, if he does end up getting a slot of his own, I want to say that you can still hit the other two and still probably get it. But unfortunately, I think it is one of those cases of it's just going to be screwed. So, by the way, I don't really know exactly the perfect timing on how to get him to always hit, but, you know, hit that right button. I just kind of hold in a general direction and just kind of wait for it to work, and sometimes it just works. Usually I'd say it's always kind of best just to start on like one of the side ones, but that's kind of hard to do. Considering the fact that like it's just like this. It's just sometimes just not possible. And just give him a little bit extra boost here. Because why not? A little extra damage. Yeah, sometimes it's easy to land. I think it's just like when he's turning corners, it just makes it a lot harder to do it. But if I'm not mistaken, I think this ending gives us a slightly different view of things. Maybe? I don't know.
Sorry, Doctor, but
Like, it really matters. I'm pretty sure none of this shit's canon anyway. Although I think to an extent, I think some of it is. But I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I don't know. But I am kind of curious. I think this is the karate chop one. But I'm pretty sure it's the same ending that we get no matter what. Although maybe he might have a little bit of different flavor text. I don't know. It's hard to say.
finally, I've got all the Chaos Emeralds.
And I'm sure we're probably all well aware, but as a kid, I usually ended up beating this boss more so than anything else.
I am Shadow Android, the ultimate life form, a copy of Shadow the Hedgehog. With the power of these emeralds, I will be stronger than
Which is kind of funny considering the fact that, like, this is still a Sonic game.
What?
You would think, like, you know, it'd be somewhat easier to do, but nah. Then when I was also younger, I used to think, like, that was supposed to imply that Shadow killed him. Now, who knows? Probably not. No, he just karate chopped. He didn't really do anything. So, let's see here. I was trying to do this one, and then we ended up going to the very bottom path and getting the good side. So that's all finished. We now have both neutrals completely done. And just ignore these two. It's the same ending regardless, but, you know, of course, different branching path. Full branching path. So, yeah. I don't know what else to say. Besides, that's it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time for some more Shadow the Hedgehog. And, of course, as always, take care, everybody.